The 18 Strong Podcast, episode number 313 with Hayden Buckley, Korn Ferry Tour champion. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 18 Strong Podcast, brought to you, as always, by Linksoul, where we believe the stronger we are, the better we play. And this episode is a super exciting episode for us here at 18 Strong. We're going to celebrate a good friend of ours, Hayden Buckley, and what he accomplished this past weekend. We knew it was a long time coming, but if you don't know who Hayden is, he is a professional golfer. We've had him on the podcast several times. Hayden's a friend of ours for several years now, and he went out without having a spot in the golf tournament this weekend on the Korn Ferry Tour and ended up winning in a playoff, birding the first playoff hole to take home the trophy at the end of the weekend. And we're just so proud of him. Can't say enough great things about this kid and all the hard work that he's put in. So we're going to let Hayden kind of walk you through the story of the weekend, walk you through the round, and just give you an insight into what this whole thing has done for him, what it was like to go through the weekend and play his rounds and how he played, but also mentally what was going through his head, and really how this could potentially completely change his life and is really just a springboard into hopefully the PGA Tour in the next year or so, and then well beyond. I do want to say a quick thanks to our sponsors. As always, Linksoul. They provide us with all of this great gear that we get to wear all the time, on the course, off the course, and they just dropped their Spring 21 collection, which has a bunch of things on there that I don't have yet, which I know I now need to go and order some more Linksoul gear. They've got the crew neck waffle sweater, which is a new one. They've always had the waffle hoodies, which is a big fan favorite, sells out all the time, one of Bubba Watson's favorites. And they've got all kinds of new colors. The pocket sweatshirt that I talk about a lot here on the podcast, they've got some new colors of that. So it looks like I'm going to be getting a couple more packages coming from Linksoul, and can't wait for the new stuff to show up. So go to 18strong.com/Linksoul. You'll get 20% off anything in your cart there, and browse around, look at their stuff. It's so great casually, but also for the golf course. You can pretty much wear it anywhere. 18strong.com/Linksoul. All right, let's jump in with the champion, Hayden Buckley.
I love it.
Hayden, my man, Korn Ferry Tour winner. Welcome back, brother.
Thanks for having me. Always good to see you. It's always good when I see you. Something good usually happens when I see you. So.
Well, I like to think that that's a streak that we have going on here, but it's just a continued pursuit of you just, man, continuing to crush it. So I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to just dive in with you, and you tell me kind of what went on. First of all, I mean, tell us a little story about the Monday qualifier and you know, how that all went down. How'd you play that day? What were you feeling like that day going into the Monday?
Yeah, you know, like a week before the tournament, I think I was well into the tournament. You know, I was like 10 or 15 spots in. We have kind of a little portal that we can check and you know, see all the players in the field, and we got different categories and all the lists. And, you know, I was pretty easily in the tournament about a week before, but I signed up for the Monday just in case. You know, I thought, man, you never know what kind of PGA guys might show up, because I think Genesis was that week. And
right.
And sure enough, I mean, 10 to 15 guys signed up, and next thing I knew, I was 2 spots out of the tournament. And I'm like, man, I was kind of preparing the last, 2 months for a tournament, ready to leave on Sunday night, drive up, have kind of 3 days to prepare and get ready for a golf tournament, and, try to get off to a good start. And next thing I knew, I'm leaving on, Sunday morning to play a practice round for a Monday qualifier.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this is brutal. And so I went up there, and actually, I mean, this is like the most packed Monday qualifier of the year, obviously being the first one. There's 2 golf courses on the same property. Can barely get a tee time. I think I teed off at 2:30 in the practice round, played 8 holes and got rained out.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm like, man, this is about as Monday qualifier as it gets right here. But I played it last year, so I knew the golf course. It wasn't a problem. But, it's going to be wet. You got an afternoon tee time on Monday, which nobody ever wants because it's going to be windy in Florida. And sure enough, show up Monday. But I feel good about my game, so I'm not worried. I show up Monday, really kind of no pressure because I'm like, man, I'm 2 spots out. There's a pretty good chance that 1 or 2 guys test positive for COVID or get hurt, or, not hoping anybody does, but, that there's a really good chance it happens every week. And show up to the Monday. I think I I left one right in the hole, like right on the lip on the first hole for birdie. So I was like, all right, I like what we're seeing. It's really windy. Second hole, straight right in the water, par three, make double. So I'm 2 over through two. Fly the green on the third, make bogey. So I'm 3 over through three. I'm thinking, man, should I just walk off now or what?
Right.
I think at the time there were already a couple guys that shot 6 under. So I'm thinking, man, I have to shoot at least six to get in this tournament. And obviously it was a little calmer in the morning. Not to be an excuse, but it is nice playing in the morning. And get up there on the fourth hole and hit one to about 8 feet for eagle. 3-wood from like 240 dead into the wind, hit it to 8 feet for eagle. And I'm walking up that fairway. I'm thinking, man, I think I can make a little comeback right here. I know it's crazy to make, maybe make 9 birdies in the next, 15 holes, but like this would be a good start right here. And miss the putt, of course, make birdie, get it back to even at the turn, and I think I birdied 10 actually. So I turned it even, 1 under through 10. I'm like, all right, let's kind of get something going. Mud ball in 11. I'm in the rough, so I can't clean it. And because we were playing, lift, clean, and place in the fairway, and make a bogey, and just kind of, made a few birdies coming in. I made 7 birdies and shot 2 under.
Man.
A double and a few bogeys later, you're like, well, not getting in the Monday this time. But and that's missing. I think I missed 2 putts inside of 10 feet coming in too on 17, 18. So my game was ready. I knew it was. I knew I was right there. And next thing I know, I'm driving back to the hotel, getting ready to at least prepare for the tournament that I'm not in for the next 2 days, just in case I get in. So show up Tuesday, play a practice round with a couple guys, played really well, played against one of my buddies, and we played a little 9-hole match on the back nine, and I took care of him a little bit, and he was like, man, it looks like you're playing good, man. I hope you get in. And I'll never forget that comment. He's like, man, you really need to be in this tournament. You're playing well. I was like, yeah, I feel good. I don't have a spot. And, practiced all day Wednesday, still nothing. And then Wednesday night, I heard from somebody that I may be first alternate. I heard that one of the guys in front of me got in because somebody withdrew. I didn't know that for sure, but I heard that. And so I kind of, I got a little bit of hope. I'm like, man, somebody can withdraw on Thursday. Somebody might wake up sick or, just not want to play golf. And so I woke up Thursday morning about 4:30, stretched, did my normal routine, showed up at 6 o'clock, warmed up on the range, and went over close to the tee box at about 6:50. The first tee time was like 6:55, I think, and just kind of sat around, watched guys tee off. No kidding you, 10 minutes later, 7 o'clock, I think right before 7, get the call. I feel my phone vibrate. I'm like, man, who's calling me at 7 a.m. on a Thursday? 6 a.m. back home. So surely nobody's calling me at 7 a.m. if it's not, the tour. Sure enough, it's Brad, one of the tour guys, and he's like, hey man, Brandon Hagee just withdrew. I think he's a PGA Tour guy. Mm-hmm. He tweeted me actually after I think a couple days ago. But
you better send him a bottle of wine or something.
Yeah, I need to send him a gift for sure. I talked to him a little bit. We're gonna meet up, I think, at some point. But he said, hey, Brandon Hagee withdrew. Like, you're in at 7:17. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what tee am I on? He's like, I don't know. I'll text you. So I just ran to the range, hit a few balls, came back, kind of ran to the tee box, showed up, and 2 guys looked at me like, where's Brandon? Yeah, they guess they knew Brandon. And I said, hey man, I don't know. They just told me to show up here at 7:17. I'm here. I'm playing with y'all today. So we, they kind of laughed about it. We had a good time, and, went out and shot bogey free 3 under. Like, got out there and I was playing solid golf. I kind of left a few putts out, but kind of did what I had to, at least to get off to a good start. And, it was pretty calm though. So I did feel like I left a few out there, even with the crazy morning, I felt like I left a few out, but I was like, man, I'm in a decent little spot. I can put something together tomorrow. And sure enough, the weather got terrible the next day. It was blowing like 20, started raining a little bit right before we teed off. It's kind of the weather I like. The last time I think we talked, the last time I won in Canada, I had this similar weather. I guess you could go back and listen to it, but I remember the Saturday round was like 45 degrees and raining and windy, and I shot 7 to take a 2-shot lead, and that was the tournament right there. So once again, it's like deja vu. Once again, terrible weather, go out, play some incredible golf, bogey free 6 under, I think best score of the day, Still, not, I don't think I was in the lead. I think I was one or two back. I think I was playing second to last group on Saturday, but put myself in that spot. All of a sudden, people were, the buzz started coming around like, hey, this kid was first alternate. Now he's one or two back. Like, he's got a chance to do something. But that Friday round felt just like the Saturday round in Canada, just like it. So something inside me was like, man, I don't know why bad weather keeps coming around when I want to play good, but this is what's going to happen. And Saturday went out, again, played solid. I think I made one bogey, four birdies, another 3 under round, but just kept leaving stuff out there. I told everybody my putting was good. I actually just put a new putter in the bag last week, literally a week ago, put a new putter in the bag. And I actually really love how I'm putting it, but just made nothing. Hit the ball so good. Shoot another 3 under, all of a sudden I'm tied for the lead. And I'm like, man, all right, like, here we go. Like, this is time. And get up there Sunday morning, definitely a little nerves. Hadn't been in a final group, I don't think, on Korn Ferry ever. It's been a while since I was competing like that, but get up there on Sunday, tons of fans out, just kind of that environment you miss, and just went out and played solid the whole day and just still made nothing. I mean, I'm sitting there hitting the ball where I'm supposed to, hitting pretty much every green. I think I missed one green, maybe two, maybe like 6 or 7 the whole week. But doing everything I'm supposed to do, and get up there Sunday, and next thing I know, I'm, maybe 1 under at the turn and losing by 2. And, I'm like, man, I'm not playing great, but I'm right there in it. And sure enough, it was a chaotic final round, hitting the ball, number 9, I hit the ball in the water, kind of hit out, found a bush, but I was embedded, got relief, hit it from a bush to like 15 feet for birdie and miss. Then miss an 8-footer on number 10 for birdie. And so, like, I'm kind of watching it slip away. This guy's playing pretty solid that's with me. And then everything just completely turned around on 14. I mean, probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm down 3 shots on number 14, a par 5. My ball's in the water. Second shot in the water. His second shot finds the middle of the green, 30 feet for eagle. So you're 3 down, chipping from the water for eagle. He's putting from the middle of the green for eagle, and you have 5 holes left. I mean, there's just no chance you win. If you look back at it, there's just no way I win the tournament. Yeah, so he's middle of the green, putting for eagle from 30 feet. I'm chipping out of the water, my third shot. Kind of got lucky. It stayed up. I find a way to make par. He 3 putts for par. So I have a little bit of life. I'm not 4 down with 4 to play, which is nice. I'm 3 down. He bogeys the par 3, 15. I find a way I just 2-putt for par. A little bit more life here. 16's really long. He hits 3-wood into 16, a par 4. I hit 4-iron in. I actually blow it 8 feet by, which nobody really talked about that putt, but that was pretty much saved the tournament right there. I make that 8-footer coming back for par. He makes par. And then 17 is kind of where everything just fell apart for him. And, really I had a chance to close it out given the situation, but I hit it to 8 feet for birdie. He's got about 10 feet for par, and he 3-putts from there. He runs it by about 3 feet. I've got this 8-footer for birdie. So in my head, I'm thinking, man, you make this birdie, he's got bogey, you're all square going into 18. Like, you're gonna win this on 18, 100%. There's no doubt. All the momentum has switched to my side. You can kind of feel everybody. The story's pretty cool. The first alternate's right here, about to win the tournament. He was down 3 for the last 5 holes. Really kind of got beat the whole day. Like, this is going to be a great comeback. And I get up there and hit a great putt, right edge, never moves, lips out. So I tap in for par. I'm a little defeated, obviously, because it's like, man, he makes bogey. He's still got a 1-shot lead. It's obviously I can still make birdie and get in there, but like, I want to go win it on 18. And all of a sudden I hear everybody, I don't really watch him putt, but I hear everybody kind of gasp, and I look back and he misses his 3-footer. Now he's got 6 feet for double. He makes that for double. And all of a sudden, I mean, I didn't even know. I asked my caddy, I was like, man, did he make double? Is that a 5? Because I really couldn't believe it. And so all of a sudden we're tied, and I look up at the scoreboard, and there's 4 of us at 13 under. One of my buddies, Dawson Armstrong, he's a good buddy of mine. He's in at 13. There's another guy in at 13, and then we're both on 18 at 13 under par. So I'm thinking, man, it's birdie or playoff no matter what. You know, you don't have a choice. And we both hit in the fairway, both hit it way short, about 40 feet, way short. Tough little hole into the wind. And, you know, he lags it up there about 6 feet short. Again, like you don't want 6 feet on the 18
right
on the 72nd hole to get into a playoff after what's been happening. I mean, nobody wants that. I didn't want it. And so I got up there and I was like, man, I have to hit this putt close. Really, I want to make it, but it's 40 feet up a hill. Like it's, you know, we all know the percentage on that going in. But I hit a great putt, man. I rolled it up there. Really looked like it was going to go in and stopped about probably 2 inches right of the hole, just like right at pin high. So perfect speed, just tapped in for par. Really everything you wanted out of it. And then he stepped up and missed. You know, so obviously the putt on 17 was huge. If I make birdie, you know, I probably win right there. But I'm like, all right, we're in the playoffs. You know, we got a playoff with 2 other guys. Like, you know what you have to do. You got to make birdie. So I signed my card. Everybody's going nuts at this point too, because they know a playoff's coming. And I signed my card. They take me back to the tee box. Both of those guys are already waiting. You know, we talked a little bit. They were both kind of shocked that, you know, they were asking, man, what happened on the last 4 holes? We thought there was no way 13 would be a playoff. And so I kind of told them, I was like, yeah, it was a little crazy. Crazy things happen on the golf course, but we get back there. Everybody hits in the fairway. I think I was the last guy to hit, or maybe the second guy to hit from the fairway. And, you know, one guy hit it to about 30 feet. I step in there. I had a good number, 155, a little hurt. So I just took a little 8-iron and knocked it up there about 10 feet, right where you wanted to be. The other guy hit it to about 20 feet. They both miss. And I'm up there. I'm like, man, this is what you've been waiting on this, you know. This is exactly what you've been waiting on. I had a chance in Canada to win in regulation. I had a 20-footer I missed. I had another chance in a playoff in Canada, the same event. I missed that putt too, but ended up winning. I was like, man, I have to make this putt. There's just no doubt. And got up there. My buddy who actually missed the putt, his coin was right in my line. And, you know, I looked at my caddy. I said, man, that coin, it's almost like it was there for a reason, you know. And I was like, man, that coin is right on my line. I think that's got to be the line. I'm going to dye it in the hole so it can lip in if it wants. I had to move his coin over, and I hit it right where I was looking and just barely fell in that right edge. And then I can't remember much after. You know, it was kind of one of those, like, you dream about those putts, especially knowing what it does for my career now. Everything's different. You know, I'm not looking at maybe not getting in the next event. I'm looking at planning my full schedule, and just the crowd. Man, the crowd went nuts too, which was awesome. I think a lot of people were cheering me on and really loved the story. And it's definitely blown up a little bit in the last few days, but it was a lot of emotions going on from 14 fairway, you know, pulling a 3-wood in the water, you know, hitting my third shot out of the water to winning in a playoff. It was hard to believe, but, you know, you kind of have to just take it when you can. You know, if you told me I parred my last 5 holes being 3 down and winning a playoff, then, you know, I'll take it. I just couldn't. It was hard to believe that got it done, but it did.
It's so insane, and it was so much fun. Well, first of all, it was just awesome to hear you kind of recap the whole deal, because with it being on the Korn Ferry Tour, you know, it's not like we're watching it on TV like the PGA Tour, and yeah. You know, I was following along all weekend on the PGA Tour app, but you can only get so much from that. And then I was sitting on Sunday, texting back and forth with a buddy of mine, Rob, and he's like, hey, man, they're showing clips on Twitter. So then we're, you know, going over to Twitter and catching clips there. And then all of a sudden it's like he's in a playoff, and they're showing it live on Twitter on the Korn Ferry feed. So I did get to see you know, I saw your shot from the fairway into the green, and, you know, you hear the crowd, which I'm sure was pretty awesome to play in front of a crowd again. Yeah. You hear the crowd, and then, you know, you see when they came up to where your ball was, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, there's no way. I was sitting there saying, there's no way he misses this putt. And sure enough, you
Yeah.
buried the thing. I mean, and you'll probably kind of shoo this off, but like you seem to have the knack for just finishing, like your wins at Mizzou, your win on the Canadian Tour, like everything that we've talked about, you have so far made come to fruition. So I want to congratulate you in front of the 18 Strong audience, because we've been pulling for you for years, man. We know that you're going to continue to just crush it. But I mean, it was just so much fun to watch and, be a little bit of a part of being able to see, like, I got to see it happen live. So it was just so cool. I want to kind of unpack a lot of what went on with, like, from the start, when you are rushing to the tee box on Thursday morning. I mean, what's flying through your head? Is it more just, hey, another day at the office, I just got my chance and here we go, boom? Or is it like, are there any butterflies? Was it good that it was such a kind of a fluster? What were you thinking then?
Yeah, it was weird because I told my caddy the whole week, which, he's the best for even coming. He's a guy I kind of just got set up with. He's got a LPGA player right now, who's a really good player. And they had an off week, and he just said, hey, man, I'll come hang out with you for a few days. If you don't get in, like, I'd cover his expenses. I was like, hey, man, you're not going to lose money. Just if you can come down and I never even met him. I just had a mutual friend. And I was like, man, just if you want to come down and just hang out and, if we get in, we get in. You never know what can happen. But, for him to do that in the first place was incredible. But all week, I said, hey, look, we have to prepare like we're in the tournament. Like we have to. I mean, we might get in. If we're not prepared when we get in, then all this is a waste. And so physically, I was ready. I prepared like I was in the golf tournament. Mentally, I didn't want to get too hopeful because I didn't want to get crushed because I felt like I belonged out there. Obviously, I had a decent season last year, so I felt like I was in the tournament already. But mentally, I was kind of like, man, I don't think I'm going to get in. Like, I'm going to sit here all day. I hope I don't have to sit here all day. And I hate to, complain, but I was like, I don't want to get an afternoon tee time and be so exhausted because I woke up at 4:30 this morning. Imagine teeing off at 1:30 after sitting there all day trying to re-warm up and re-stretch and all this stuff. And, if I got the tee time, I don't think I'd be too mad. But
right.
Luckily, I mean, it kind of worked out. Luckily, I had just done a full warm up. It really wasn't a huge break in between, like, 15 minutes of kind of putting and just waiting. But we were definitely ready. There weren't any really nerves. But part of me was like, man, this happened for a reason. Like, you have to take advantage of it. I've talked to you about that before. Every opportunity you get, I've had 2 PGA Tour starts. We've talked about them. And I made those cuts and, didn't play great on the weekends. And so I always said, like, man, I took advantage of an opportunity by making a cut, make a little bit of a paycheck. It's nice. It's always nice. Especially last year when I didn't have status and, played in the Honda, but it's like, man, take advantage of your opportunity. Like, make it really matter. The money's not important. Make this something that'll give you a change in your career path. And, your game's ready. You made 7 birdies in the Monday when it was super windy on a soggy, wet golf course that was super slow greens. Now you're on a great golf course. And so we step up there and I'm like, man, let's keep it in play on the first couple. The first 3 holes are the whole course. The first 3 are the toughest out there. And that's where I started. Like, man, just let's get through these first 3 and let's just, who cares? You're not supposed to be in the event anyway, I guess, right? You weren't in it.
Yeah, nothing to lose, right?
There's nothing to lose, but at the same time, like, let's be smart and let's just hit some greens and see what we can do. And next thing I know, man, everything was just good. The ball striking was incredible. I've told this to everybody I've talked to probably in the last 2 days. Me and my coach, we rate our, ball striking, putting, chipping, all that. And, I think for the week, the putting was probably a C-. Wow. is what we talked about. I mean, it's hard to say you win a golf tournament with C- putting, but, I think I had 1 3-putt in 4 days. So that's a positive. Played, had good speed all week, but still just didn't make a lot of the putts. I know the percentages on putt. You've talked about it. You've had putting guys on your show and, we can talk about it all day, but just, there were big putts that I needed to make to win a golf tournament and they didn't go in, but I still won the golf tournament, which I think shows how important ball striking is. And me and my coach, we talk about it all the time. That's my game. I'm going to ball strike it around the golf course. If my putter gets hot, I might win by 10, or I'm going to go really low and be able to compete. And if it's just kind of average, I can still find a way. That's something we've talked about a lot too, is I'm going to find a way to do something. I'm going to Monday in. I was going to Monday in, if I didn't get in the next week, I was going to find a way to Monday in that one. And it's crazy to think I didn't lose confidence, I guess, in the putter. It's a brand new putter. I rolled it well. I just didn't make anything, but I'm like, man, if I'm doing this with, C minus putting, just imagine what can happen if I continue to hit it like this. It's just only a matter of time before that putter gets hot, and you have a few weeks in a row where you really change your life, or you win a U.S. Open, or you win a major or something like that. So there was a lot of good, even throughout the round. There was a lot of good things going on, but I just didn't know what to expect. Last year, I think 25 under won this golf tournament last year, is what I heard. I think they converted one of the par fives into a par four this year, so that takes away a couple shots. But I think 25 under won the golf tournament last year. So in my head, I'm like, man, I shoot 3 under. Is that good? You never know when you get up there, especially in these Korn Ferry events. And I get in, and I'm like, in the top 40 or so, and just kind of a normal. It's just everything's kind of normal. And then Friday, everything changed. That was it. All of a sudden, I shot that 6 under Friday, and everything was like, there are no nerves. I belong out here. Like, I'm gonna play well. And if anything, I'm going to top 10 this event and get into the next week, just to guarantee myself a start, if anything.
When you have a round like you did on Friday, and obviously, it sounds like that you were just dialed in, perfect round, 6 under. We always hear people talking about, kind of getting in that flow state or getting in the zone and things like that. What is that like to you? Are there certain things that are just kind of clicking for you, or is it kind of blank space? Is it like a blackout? Like, what does that look like for Hayden Buckley?
Well, it's crazy because, I started the round out, actually, shout out to 18 Strong. I hit one about 386 on the first tee. It was, it got over a hill and hit a downslope and went way down there, but it was a downwind par 5, and started on number 10 on Friday, and I hit a little 9-iron into the first hole, which really helped. I had a 15-footer for eagle. I miss, kind of another one of those putts where you feel like you're like, man, I think this is my start right here. Like, I'm going to make eagle, and I'm about to make a run here, but make birdie to start there, and really drove it well all week. Drove it long all week too, because that some strength coach of mine, I guess, he's really helped me out there. But really drove it well and drove it long all week. But you're like, all right, let's see what can happen here. Let's stay patient. Next thing I know, a par 3 into the wind, I hit it to 3 feet. So I make that putt. Then I have another par 5. I hit the green in 2, or I think I hit it just short and get up and down or whatever. So all of a sudden I've made 3 birdies and haven't made a putt. It's just all ball striking, 100% all ball striking. You're talking about, good tee shots on par 5s, good second shots on par 5s, and 2 putting for birdie or chipping it close, and then hitting a 6-iron on a par 3 to 3 feet. So really haven't done anything with the putter, but I'm ball striking it. And so, in my head, there's not really any thought of like, there's no pressure. I'm 3 under through 5 or 6. Everything's just very normal because I have not made any putts. Once I get on the greens, everything felt fine, but I'm not making any putts. So if anything, there's a lot less pressure because I feel like they're going to fall at some point. But I make the turn at, maybe 3 or 4 under, and I get up there. I think par the first 3, like I said, the first 3 are really tough. Hit some good shots in there, make pars. And then number 4 was drivable, and I hit one of the better tee shots I've hit in a while into the wind with a driver to about 30 feet for eagle. And that was one of my 2 or 3 putts I made from outside of like 10 feet all week. It felt like, make that 30-footer for eagle. And that was kind of when I knew, like, hey, we're playing a good round today, because it's crazy windy. It's crazy weather. But I ended up making, I think, one more birdie coming in and shooting 6. And it's just like, man, I still feel like I left, 1 or 2 shots out there, even in the crazy weather. And, really didn't make any putts besides the one 30-footer for eagle, and still found a way to shoot 6 under. And so, I think when the ball striking is good like that for me, there just aren't thoughts because that's just kind of the normal, it feels like. Um, Obviously, there are bad days with ball striking, but when that's your strength, I think the putting side, I think if you're struggling with ball striking and then the putts aren't falling, everything's just kind of going crazy. It can get really frustrating. But I think when you hit it good and you putt it good, but don't make anything, I think it's almost a little bit calming, just knowing you're right there and knowing you're not doing anything wrong. It's just kind of a part of the game. So um, everything was flowing pretty good. Obviously, it was you could kind of feel the vibe like with the media guys that everybody was like, man, first alternate now he's one shot back of the lead, but it wasn't. It's kind of weird because I feel like I wasn't like some random first alternate or I wasn't a random Monday qualifier that maybe just got out of college or has no status and went from no status to full status. But they did blow the story up pretty good to where it
Of
was like,
course.
hey, he literally had no tee time on Thursday morning, and then sun. And then, yeah, I even tweeted it. Thursday morning at 6 a.m. I was on the range at dark, and Sunday at 6 p.m. I was holding a trophy, which is awesome, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was 85th on the money list. Like I was having a decent season. I had a couple like 11th, 12th place finishes last year. I guess not enough to get me in the tournament, to start this season. But it wasn't as random, I feel like, as some people maybe from the way outside looking in, like that don't know me or don't know, the golf world. They might have seen it as like super random guy just wins tournament. But I think a lot of my buddies even said, hey, we knew it was coming. I got a couple of texts from like even my buddy in the playoff. He came up to me after. There's a video somewhere out there. He came up to me after and was like, "Hey man, I'm not surprised. Like I hate you for making it. Obviously, I wanted to make mine, but like we know you belong out here, and it's about time. Really, is what he told me. So there's a lot of support from guys. I got some guys from the PGA Tour that have reached out that I played with in junior golf and that have already made it up there, and they reached out to me on Twitter and Instagram, and they're like, man, that was pretty sweet, like way to take advantage. So it's been a wild few days, but man, about a week ago today, I guess was we're filming this on a Wednesday, but a week ago today, I was just kind of practicing and a little bit down because I'm not in the golf tournament. I don't know what my tee time is. Everybody else is getting ready to play. Everybody was asking me what time I played on Thursday, and I had no answer for them. So it was wild, man. That's all it is.
Well, I think it's interesting, the whole Cinderella story, kind of a thing, quote unquote. Yeah. And it's like, anybody that is in a Cinderella story situation, from their perspective, it's not a Cinderella story. Like for you and anybody that knows you, like, no, this is just what you've been working for. You've been right there on the cusp, and you've been waiting to get into this tournament. You've played in plenty of these tournaments. You've played in PGA Tour tournaments. So it's like it's not a Cinderella story, but for the media, I mean, it's a great story. The fact that you didn't have a tee time and all that stuff. I've heard you say a couple times in a few interviews that you've done that I've watched over the past couple of days, and just me knowing you and over the last couple of months, you've had a couple of things that have gone on that weren't really expected as far as the off season, and I know that you've had a couple struggles there. So, and you've said I wasn't feeling great about a month ago as far as my game and where it was and things that have happened. So, give us a little insight into the mental attitude that you had a month ago and some of the things that contributed to that.
Yeah, I mean, you know it, especially I told you all the time about how I was hurting a little bit at the end of the last year. And I remember, I think I took a week off right after the last tournament last year and just wanted to relax, and then came straight back and was ready to, I think I had texted you and was like, hey man, I'm ready to hit it hard in the gym. Like let's gain 20 yards. I don't care. Let's go. It's time to do it. Everybody's doing it. I've already gained a ton of yards since we started working, I think 3 years ago, but, I was like, I really want to make a difference. I don't want to play a ton of golf. I played, I think, 10 weeks in a row. Like, this is about the end of October, I think. And, sure enough, in the gym, did something to my hand. I don't really know what. We still don't know what happened, but, was out for about a month. Didn't get to play much golf. Really in the perfect time to play golf back home in Mississippi, too, the October, November. I think it was sunny and 70 almost every day, and I was sitting there doing nothing. So, I was a little bit down for a while. Obviously, I'd missed the cut in the last event too, so that didn't help. And then, moved to Florida not long after that, kind of got a little bit healthy. But, you miss a month of practice, and now you're like, okay, I need to really practice for, the month of December. I'm gonna use the month of December and really just practice hard. And then January comes around, and all these guys are playing mini tour events, and they're ready to go for the season. And I haven't even played a golf tournament in a month or two. And so, mentally I was a little bit confused. Um, definitely not, definitely not as excited about golf as I thought I would be come January. And physically I still wasn't quite there. I was trying, my hand still wasn't 100%. And, come back, sure enough, the start of February, I was like, I got to play golf. I have got to go find a tournament. So I played about 3 or 4 mini tour events in the last 4 weeks leading up to this. And, actually lost in a playoff about 2 weeks ago in a mini tour event. There's about 30 guys. It was pretty good little prize money in it too, but got up there and made a par in a playoff and lost. And I think part of that's like, hey, I learned every time you play in a playoff and win or lose, you learn a little bit of a little bit of you get a little bit of information about how your body reacts in a playoff, even in a a playoff with no fans. There's 2 rules officials and the players. You still feel stuff through your body, and every time you get to do that, you learn how to manage it. And I really do think that losing that playoff had a little bit of effect last week. But liked where my game was. I was getting there, and then played 2 more mini tour events, and really just did not like where my game was. I thought I had been working hard. I liked how I was practicing, but I just didn't like. It's kind of one of those things where you can only do so much in practice. Until you get out there and play and feel wind and, get back left tucked pins and have to hit balls with water to your right or left and out of bounds. And until you get under the gun, playing a tournament, it's hard to emulate that in practice. And, I remember my coach texting me out. I was kind of frustrated about a week before the Monday qualifier, and had just gone to see him, and he saw some things where he's like, man, you're just sloppy. Things are just sloppy. You haven't played enough. You got to keep playing. I mean, you got to play the next, 2 or 3 months. You just can't stop playing. And, I remember just not feeling great going into the Monday. I liked the way things were going, but I just knew without experience in the last 3 months, things were just going to be a little bit ugly. Like I said, it was windy, but got up there in the Monday second hole and hit one straight right in the water. I don't do that. I usually don't do that, knowing, especially in that kind of situation, knowing you got to go make a lot of birdies. And could just tell I was a little bit rusty, but I kept grinding it out. And, really it comes down to like just grinding. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I thought about it for a while, and I was like, man, I know you don't feel 100%. Even going into the tournament, I felt good about myself for making 7 birdies in a Monday. But it's like, man, I know you really aren't in a place to go win a golf tournament. That's what it felt like, which is weird to say because I did win the golf tournament. But I mentally did not feel like I was in a place to compete at a super high level. New putter in the bag. Me and my coach have been talking about it. Haven't been able to settle on that for the last 6 months, it feels like. So a lot of things have been going on. It. I mean, I've been trying to work out a lot just to give me some kind of, positive vibe. I felt like practice wasn't going how I wanted. So at least in the gym, we have a pretty good little good workout that we do. And we've been doing it for, the last 3 years. And obviously you feel pretty good usually when you leave workout. So I focus more on that than anything. Physical ability was a little more important for me than really practicing in the mental game. And then now I think I've got these 3 weeks off, and I've got a lot of work to do. Even after a win, I know it's hard to say after a win, like, man, I really got to go work on something. But there's a little bit of mental awareness I need to improve on. I think mentally I was lost, but I just found a way to get it done. And it's hard to really think that can happen, especially at a high level. I think you usually hear about guys talking about everything was clicking, everything went right. They got a little bit of luck involved, but for me mentally, it wasn't the best week, and still found a way to get it done, which I think just goes back to, being a ball striker and just hitting it good enough to make it work. But learned a lot. I mean, getting in a playoff. Every time you get in a playoff, you come back from 3 down with 5 to play and make it work. And everything. You could look at it and say mentally, I looked mentally tough out there because I stuck with it. But mentally, the whole week was just it was a tough one. And I know I got some stuff to work on, but just the last 4 months it hasn't been pretty. But now things are coming together a little bit now. But it's been a tough 4 months, man. It was nice to get. I knew a win was coming this year. I could feel it. I know my game was getting there, but to get it this early, it wasn't shocking, but it's definitely came a little earlier than I think most people thought. And if you look back to my last few weeks leading up to the tournament, I wasn't really expecting it, but never surprised by it.
It's funny how many times you hear somebody coming into a tournament. I can remember when we had Zach Johnson on the show talking about when he won the Masters, and he was saying when he went into that week at Augusta, like he did not feel good about his game whatsoever. And I think he may have even been a little bit sick. And, it's like sometimes we show up at our best when we don't really think that we're at our best. And it's amazing when you just kind of are able to pull it out. And I think that's when you really see kind of a true champion come out. But also I think what's neat to see here is the fact that, you just won a tournament, the biggest tournament that you've ever won. And you're saying, I have stuff to work on. It's not sitting back and saying, cool, all right, we're here. It's like, no, we're just getting started right now. And if I want to reach the pinnacle of what we're doing, I got to keep moving forward and I got to keep working on it. And, it just goes to show that the work is never done. You're constantly, and you've been like this ever since I've known you. You're constantly wanting to, wherever you are, you're not happy with it. It's like, well, I gotta get better here, and I gotta do this. And so it's been neat to see that drive and that determination to continue to just keep getting better.
Especially if you look at it, I went from, the huge jump from 85th on the money list to 27th. But if you look at it, I think somebody mentioned it to me. I think somebody on Golf Channel may have said it, but they said, oh, well, you win a Korn Ferry event, you pretty much lock up a tour card. But, I'm 27th. I'm not with the 2-year season,
right.
The wraparound season that we have, there's going to be, 35 to 40 winners. I can't remember exactly how many tournaments. I want to say it's close to 45 events total. I can't remember the exact number, but, you're going to have obviously some multiple winners. And that's the other thing too. Now you win one more and all of a sudden you're a win away from the tour card.
Right.
And, so a lot of things have changed, but at the same time, I'm 27th on the money list. I didn't just jump up to second on the money list where I have this huge gap. And I learned that the hard way in Canada. I was 5th on the money list and, got beat in the very last event and finished 6th. And that kind of, that threw off a couple things, with my start of the Korn Ferry season last year. But, even finishing in the top 25 from what I hear, if you finish 25th on the money list, you're not guaranteed to play a lot of PGA events. It's not like, oh, congrats, you're in every event. It's like you want to finish as close as you can to that first spot as possible, if not the first spot. And so obviously there's a lot to be done. But the hardest part was, man, I feel like there was some luck. Obviously what I did in the playoff was just straight, head down, like we're going to go birdie this hole no matter what. That was stuff. I was really impressed just with myself for doing that. But there's a little bit of luck involved, being 3 down with 5 to play. That's not, you can't make 5 pars and win every week being 3 down with 5 to play. So it's, obviously there's improvement I want. It's hard to complain about a win, but, just knowing at the next level, if you're 3 down with 5 to play, you're probably not going to win with 5 pars unless you're at a U.S. Open. Then that could be the case. But there's a little bit of the putting side that I really want to dig into, and I've never had a putting coach. I've reached out to a few guys that I might be interested in just to bounce things off of them, just to see what they see what they might think is wrong. Not that there's anything wrong, but everybody's always improving their putting. You see these guys fly out coaches every week on the PGA Tour. I played the Honda last year, and there's 20 players on the putting green and there's 20 coaches, it feels like, just watching them putt. So it's always nice to have eyes on your game. And that's, I send videos to my swing coach almost every week, and he couldn't be there this week, but I don't even think I sent him a video this week. That's kind of how the week was. It's like, I'm not in the event, mentally. I'm going to prepare for it, but I'm just not even going to worry about, what the swing looks like. I'm just going to go in and see what happens. And I think that was almost the best part of it. I think if you gave me a tee time Wednesday night and I prepared for it normally, things would have been a lot different. Now, would I have still won? Maybe. Would I have still played good golf? Maybe. It's hard to say. But I think just showing up Thursday with no tee time, I just didn't care. It was like, hey, man, they don't even know we're here. The guys I'm playing with don't even know who you are. They're surprised to see you. Let's just go beat everybody. That's the bottom line. I think everybody feels that way every week. Let's just go beat every single person here. But it was really nice to see, man. It's still, looking back, I watch the video every day. Feels like every second. The video of the putt, and I think I put it on my Instagram too. And a lot of people have sent me, screenshots of the video and the live stream, and obviously the emotion. You could see the emotion come out. I'm not a guy I don't like fist pumping. Like I don't do it. I don't club twirl. I don't do any of that stuff. I like to just I try to emulate Dustin Johnson a little bit. I struggle to do it, but it feels like he's just out there and he just doesn't care. He could win a U.S. Open and not even smile, it seems
right.
like. And, I kind of want that. I want to feel what he feels, and I couldn't hold it in that playoff. I mean, there was just no way. There was no way that wasn't coming out. And, you dream about that stuff. So it's so fun, obviously, getting to do it for a living and getting to do it that way. Even if I would have won in regulation, it would have been nice too. But, getting to do it in a playoff and see it go in, just knowing like I can do it. And there's no doubt. So a lot of things are changing now. A lot of people are calling me, and, now we're chasing a tour card. We're not just chasing a, exemption in the Korn Ferry next year. The top 75 on the money list get in for the next season. Now we're chasing that top 25, and we're chasing chase that top 5, get way up there and try to make a difference. So,
well, I was going to ask you what has this week looked like for you, as far as I know you've been doing a lot of interviews. Saw you on the Golf Channel yesterday.
Yeah, I was there.
And so what kind of phone calls are you getting? Are sponsors calling? Like, is it, I mean, I know it's at a different level from if you win a PGA Tour event, but I'm sure this obviously opens up quite a few doors for you.
Yeah, definitely heard some things about, different people calling, my people and wanting to talk. And
my people,
really
sounds so official.
I get a lot of Instagram DMs from random companies that, some small companies, some a little bit bigger companies, definitely got a little bit of attention, I think, from people, especially knowing that you have a potential tour card, coming. But, coming in, I didn't have a ton of deals or anything. I had one sponsor, Bancorp South. It's a bank, regional bank from back home. And, I have had them for about 2 years now. And, they've been great to me. And I've definitely had some other people, reach out and want to talk about things, but I haven't had any kind of clothing deals or anything, but I've had some people reach out in that aspect. And, a lot of things going on that are, that come with playing well. And it's something that, you kind of always dream about. I think every guy out there is, watching Tiger and watching, DJ and all these guys, show up with, brand new clothes, and they fly private jets and do all these things. And, just wonder how they do that. And, you win a big tournament and you kind of see how, not in the same way, but you can kind of see how, when they win those big tournaments, how those things kind of fall into place. And, kind of came out of nowhere, I guess, because a lot of people, I don't think a ton of people knew me out there. I played good in college, played good in Canada, but I feel like I haven't really, gotten out to big companies or big agencies or things like that. And I think more people are starting to see the hard work that's been going on, and, that 18 strong that's been going on in the gym. And they're starting to see those long drives are coming out. A couple of guys looked at me and said, "Man, you're not the biggest guy, but you're hitting it out there a little bit." Definitely that one I hit on the par 5 too, that went about 380. That it's hard to believe that I went from, a college kid hitting it maybe 280 to, easily hitting it 300 and a lot farther in some places. But uh, it's been crazy, man. It's been a fun few days. I really haven't gotten to look at my phone though. That's the craziest part. I played a Monday qualifier the very next day for the
Yeah.
Puerto Rico Open this week, and missed there. But I was 200 through four actually. I actually rolled in two 20-footers to start the day. 200 through four. I'm like, man, this is kind of, ball striking wasn't the best. I'm a little tired, but make two long putts, and I'm like, hey, this is kind of nice. But back to the argument of ball striking and putting. I feel like I'm putting it good, but the ball striking's a little off. It's just so hard to rely on putting, in my opinion. I've talked to a lot of people about it. It's just so hard to rely on making 15, 20 footers. Um, it might happen. You might get hot, but I didn't get hot, and I think I shot one under, for the day. So really just didn't do anything, but came back home Monday night and celebrated a little bit, and took the day off yesterday, and probably taking another day off today, just to relax and really respond to all the people that have reached out. I think that's the biggest thing. It's hard to get back to everybody, but when you have that many people that support you, you gotta try to get back to them, and at least they just want to hear your voice, and
Yeah. How many text
hopefully
messages did you say you had?
I think it was like over 500 text messages, like 540, I think. I didn't even know I had 540 phone numbers, or I don't know if I know 540 people. But I know a lot of numbers were numbers I don't have saved, but just a lot of people from back home that really love golf. I heard the country club back home was going nuts on Sunday watching the live stream, and
I bet.
got a lot of tags on Facebook and Instagram, and just a lot of things have been going on. And it's part of me is like, man, everybody thinks it's annoying. Everybody's like, hey man, I'm sorry to blow you up. Sorry to take time out of your day. I'm like, man, this is a part of it. I'm taking 2 days off for a reason. I just want to relax, and I enjoy talking to my friends back home, and everybody that supports me. So it's like part of the job, part of playing good, and it doesn't happen all the time. So you got to enjoy it while it does.
Absolutely. I want to ask, Saturday night into Sunday, how'd you sleep? Was it, you're tied for the lead, you're in the final pairing. I know you said you haven't really been in that situation, at least on the Korn Ferry Tour. So what was that like?
Yeah, it's funny. I think the tee time was 12:50, so much later tee time, um, which it's good, but I don't like sitting around all day. So I actually went to bed really late, which I think is kind of weird. I think a lot of guys are like, man, I got to go to sleep early and wake up and make sure I get all this sleep. But I was, man, I'm going to go to bed really late and just sleep in till about 8 or 9 o'clock. So then I can kind of not be rushed, but I don't have to sit around and think about things. So I didn't feel great Sunday morning. I'm not gonna lie. My stomach was hurting a little bit. Don't know if it was nerves or not, but I did not feel great. Just kind of took a second to relax and got everything packed up and left the hotel, and showed up on property, and I knew, man, it was so windy when I showed up, and it just couldn't ask for better. Just knowing that nobody's gonna go out and shoot 6 or 7 under. Because when you're in the lead, the last thing you want is some guy showing up shooting 8 or 9 under par, and being in the clubhouse, and
Right.
you show up on 15 tee box, and you're 3 or 4 shots back and you're playing a decent round of golf. So the wind was definitely a little confidence booster for me, because I play better in wind, and I could feel it, but I saw the fans, and a lot of guys everybody kind of knew the story already by Sunday, I think. And so I got a lot of good vibes, from the first tee box. There was probably, 200 people in the first tee box, and they followed us around, and man, just really incredible. Went from not feeling so good to stepping up on the first tee and hitting the middle of the fairway to really didn't feel much at all after that. Just another day on the golf course. Obviously coming down the stretch, you're like, wait a second, this is actually a life-changing, you try not to think about it like, hey, this is life-changing if you win. But definitely in the playoff, I hit that shot in there thinking, man, you make this putt and change your life. That's the bottom line. That's it. Make the putt, change your life. Even if you don't make the putt, probably gonna benefit you pretty well. You're gonna make a big jump, but make this putt and change your life. And it went in, man. It's been a life changer.
I can't imagine how many times over the past couple of days you're just like, did Did that really happen? Like, kind of like pinching yourself. I mean, do you still just kind of sit there and think like, "Whoa, this isn't a dream anymore"?
Yeah, yeah. You know, like I said, it's not surprising to get a win. I tell that to people. I think, like I said, I had tour guys reach out and say, "Man, it's about time." Like we saw it coming. I remember I actually got to play 9 holes with Eric Compton on Tuesday. You know, the guy that
Yeah.
I think he's had like 3 heart surgeries
Yep.
or just, I mean, unbelievable. And he was just kind of, he shared a little bit of knowledge during the 9 holes and, talked about, I think he joked around about getting old and all these things. I said, man, you're still a good player. Get out of here. But, um, he liked what he saw. He was one of the guys that reached out to me in the last few days too and said, man, I knew I saw something in that practice round. Like, I'm just not surprised. So it's not surprising to win, but it still doesn't feel real because I'm back home now. I really haven't seen anybody in person. I've kind of just wanted to. I saw people in the Monday qualifier the day after, and a lot of when everybody there is coming up to you, congratulating you. It's kind of that's when people are like, hey man, that was a big deal, And I think my dad I haven't heard him be so excited in his life. I think he's been calling everybody, and he hadn't even called me much because I think he's calling everybody and answering phone calls. And it doesn't feel real yet, but it's not surprising. It's you say it all the time. I think you tweeted it or Instagrammed it too. You said, "Man, it's like we knew it was coming. We
Yeah.
saw it coming. We've seen it at every level, and it's just it's hard. It's hard to look back on it and see how it happened. I guess is the biggest thing. It's Thursday morning, had nothing. Imagine not getting in that tournament and just coming home and doing nothing. That's kind of what I expected to happen. Thursday morning, I didn't expect any calls the whole day and was going to drive home an hour and probably, play Xbox all night and, wake up and maybe play some golf on the weekend and just kind of be depressed for about 3 weeks until the next tournament, which I probably wasn't going to be in the next tournament either. So I probably have to go qualify for that. And now it's, now we're in every tournament. I think there's a big, 7, 8, 9 week in a row event coming up, or 7 or 8 events in a row coming up for the season. And I can take a week off if I want.
Yeah.
Not saying I would, because I just don't know if I ever will, because you just never know when that opportunity is going to come to win a golf tournament again. But, I have the ability to take weeks off, or I'm in every event. So it's just really nice to not have to Monday qualify officially anymore.
Well, it's amazing how something can change so quickly from Thursday morning thinking you're going home to play Xbox and Sunday evening coming home with a trophy. Man, and you mentioned earlier about, the fist bumps and not trying to show too much emotion, but I have to say, like, those pictures that whoever took those pictures from the Korn Ferry Tour of you, like, just letting it go, I mean, those gave me chills when I first saw them, and I love that part, so don't try to hold that in. That's just naturally you just letting that go, but it just showed how excited you were. It showed, like, all the hard work and determination, and dude, we're just so proud of you here. It's like like watching a little brother go out and achieve his dreams. It's so much fun. So I just want to say, from everybody here at 18 Strong, obviously we're gonna have a lot more of these podcasts because you're gonna be on that champion circle a lot more. But just want to say congrats, man, and all the hard work. It's continuing to pay off.
I really appreciate it, man. I've actually had a couple 18 Strong members reach out, and not this week, but in the past, they've reached out on Facebook and Twitter and said, hey man, I follow 18 Strong and really love their stuff. Saw you on there. Just good luck. Just really simple stuff. And so there's obviously you're growing a pretty huge brand over there, and a lot of people just from all over just always like to reach out. And I think they know they're in the right place if they're at 18 Strong. So I really appreciate it.
Well, what would one piece of advice be that you have as you're signing off here? What would it be for the 18 Strong audience, or one thing that you want them all to remember when they're out there, whether it's struggling on the course, enjoying the course, whatever it might be?
And I think it's been pretty much the whole life story of, not getting recruited in high school, really not doing anything in college till my senior year, and then, missing out, being very close in Canada to being in the top 5, and then even this week being, right there at the edge, ready to get in the tournament. It's just staying patient, man. That's been the absolute mindset the whole, really my whole life. It feels like you have to be patient and take advantage of opportunities. And I know that's, in a different way for your everyday golfer, but when you're out playing golf in a casual round, it's just, man, you never know when 3 or 4 birdies might come around, or for me, you never know when a tee time might come around and change your life. And, also for me in high school, you never know when a scholarship offer might come around and really change your life. That was kind of the start of everything, was a last second senior year offer to go to college, and not on much of a scholarship. I think it was 1 or 2% scholarship, but that also led me to you too. So, there's a lot of things that if you do stay patient, a lot of things will come your way, and a lot of things oddly will flow together and really work out for you. Obviously it takes a little bit of luck and it takes a little bit of time, but man, things find a way to work out, and that's just been the motto forever.
Well, we've been saying around here kind of internally a lot lately that hard work creates lucky bounces. And, I think that's
really good bounces. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Great bounces. I mean, imagine my ball on 14, a low 3-wood going left with water left somehow stays up in some mud that I can hit out of. If that goes in the water, more than likely make bogey. I'm down 4. I'm just out of it. And so it's a lot of hard work to, hook a 3-wood in the water, but I got lucky and got away with it. And, but it really does, man. Hard work finds a way to get it done. It really does.
All right, brother. Well, once again, can't congratulate you enough and be proud of you anymore, but we'll continue the conversation in the future for sure.
Appreciate it, man. I really appreciate all the help too. You're the man.
All right, thanks for joining us this week on the 18 Strong podcast with our buddy, champion Hayden Buckley. If you want to find out any more about Hayden, we'll link up all of his social media stuff in the show notes at episode number 313 over at 18strong.com. Also, be sure to go check out Linksole. You can go to 18strong.com/Linksole to get 20% off anything on the website. They've got the jackets, shirts, hats, everything that you would want to wear on the course, off the course. They do it the best. Can't speak highly enough of the Linksole gear. And then lastly, I want to suggest going over to 18strong.com, and if you haven't checked out our new golf fitness app, go right to the homepage. You'll see a video of me giving a description of the 18 Strong app and why it's so important for you to have a plan to play your best golf and what the tool is that's going to get you there. If you have been following 18 Strong for any amount of time, you know that we're all about getting you stronger to play your best golf on the course, off the course. We're here for the everyday guy. We're not here for the tour players. We're not here for the collegiate level athletes. We're here for the guys and girls out there that are listening to this show that love golf, but it's not what you do professionally. It's not what you do for your living, but you want to make sure you're fit. You want to look good. You want to feel good. You want to hit the ball further. You heard Hayden talking about it today, what it's done for him and what us working together has done for his game. So this is your chance to go have a plan to do the exact same thing for your game. Go to 18strong.com. Right there on the front page, you can get your 7-day free trial. And here's my challenge to you. I'm going to challenge you to go get the free trial, and if you don't do anything else, I want you to do the daily motion exercises that we have for every single golfer on their calendar. We put it on their calendar every single day. It's a 5 to 10 minute routine that I do every single day. I have our golfers do it every single day, and it will make the biggest difference for you in the shortest period of time. And if you don't feel better in 6 days, return it, tell us you don't want it, whatever. But I guarantee you're going to feel better just after doing those daily motion exercises for 6 days, and that's just the beginning. All right, thanks for joining us on the 18 Strong podcast this week with Hayden Buckley, and we will catch up with you again in the next few weeks with some great guests. Remember, the stronger we are, the better we play.